Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Father Matt. I'm up here in Quincy, and I just thought I would make myself useful the best I can, and I thought I would share a little bit with you about the stuff that I've been reading, and maybe give you some ideas of what you might want to read and stuff. So one of the things that I just recently read was this article that I'm going to flip it around on my computer. Uh, it's written by um, Daniel O'Connor. This is his, it's at dsdoconnor.com. So that's his Daniel O'Connor's blog. Um, so he talks about prophecy and the new year, the warning and the war, Benedict XVI, and Father Michel. Some of you know that I've kind of paid attention to Father Michel Rodrigue. He's this mystic, purportedly um, from Canada, and some of the things that I guess recently have been said in the on the internet about him is that, hey, didn't he say that um, it made a prophecy about Pope Benedict, that Pope Benedict was going to, after, I think he said that first it would be Pope Francis would be killed, and then Pope Benedict would try to bring the church together or something to that effect, uh, and then he would get killed. Well, the prophecy failed. So, um, and I was wondering myself, because I could have sworn that in some of the things he said over this last year was that this year we were supposed to see the beginning of the chastisements. And while it's always hard to guess or interpret what exactly are, what would you call, like, you could call these like the minor chastisements, things that we're already encountering right now, COVID and, all of the changes in the church, all of the, you'd say like, confusion in the church. Sure, you could call this all of this. This is all in some sense, a chastisement. But the point is that it really sounded a lot more, if I remember correctly, that he was basically saying in this year, 2022, I mean, last year, that we were going to see these things, which include world war and famine and more plague and things like that. Now, here's the thing. I don't doubt that those things are coming, but Father Rodrigue, I could have sworn he said they were going to happen this year. So, meaning, once again, the year of 2022. So, and then now Daniel O'Connor is saying that, you know, uh, he said these things about Pope Benedict, and now it's clear, because Pope Benedict has died, that we should go ahead and set his prophecies aside. And so I'm pretty much on board with that. I mean, it's always hard to tell. These things can be tricky, but it's always hard to tell. Interesting. Look at that right there. Blessed Elena Aiello. That's the one that I use the prayer at the end of the Mass. What does she say? She says, if you are not a, oh, no. Oh, she says, Russia will march upon all the nations of Europe, particularly Italy, and will raise her flag over the dome of St. Peter's. Terrible war will come from the east to the west. Russia, with her secret armies, will battle America, will overrun Europe. Russia, spurred on by Satan, will seek to dominate the whole world, and by bloody revolutions will propagate her false teachings throughout all the nations. So I guess what Daniel was trying to say is that even though we have one of the, well-known, prophets of our day, Father Rodrigue, who seems to have failed. He's saying, let's not lose our mind about that the overwhelming rest of prophecy that we've been given, while a lot of it has not been fulfilled, it is still telling us something that seems to be undeniable, that things are coming our way, and likely not too far into the future. So I recommend that article. Let's see, what else? Sometimes I read books on like digital books, like on what do you call it? Play books, Google Play. So I've been reading this book right here called Revelations, and I'm getting toward the end. I don't know where I'm at right now. Let me see. I must be more than 50% into it, but it's been a pretty good book. Let me go to the front of it here to show you. Let's go to the top. Revelations. Okay, so that's the name of the book. I'm showing it to you right now on my on my desktop computer, but I normally look at this on my phone because that's what makes this handy. But anyway, what's nice about looking at these books is you can go ahead and search things. And so I thought I would, well, first of all, before I show you that, I want to show you what this book contains. This book was written in 2022, and in fact, the author was on John Henry Weston. I hope you know who that is. That's this guy right there. He's the one that is the founder, one of the founders of LifeSite News. And that's another thing that I read on a regular basis. Of all the things that you could read right now, with all these confusing things going on in the church, I recommend LifeSite News, okay? Because it's just, everything I've ever seen from it has been solid, and there's not that many things that are solid these days. So I hope that's helpful to you. Anyway, this guy right over here, John Henry Weston, I watch him a lot too. I like him. I like him a lot. So I will say, though, anyway, he had the author of Revelations on his page there, and I'm sorry, on his videos. He does a lot of videos. So I just want to recommend John Henry Weston, and then also this book. The book covers, let's see, it covers La Salette, the messages of Our Lady of La Salette, and that's like Our Lady in France, appearing to these two children in like 1846, I think it was. 1846. And then you go down to, let's see, what's the next one? The Prophecies and Messages of La Frau Dice. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but this is Marie Julie Jeheni. She's from France. So a couple of things from France. So anyway, those are very fascinating. All of these different prophecies that you're going to see that happen, that are big ones in the last couple of 100 years, they're talking about basically the same thing. They're talking about how there's going to be chastisements. There's going to be a warning. There's going to be the 3 days of darkness, which is like the culmination of all of God's chastisements to the world and to the church. And there seems to be a lot of things that are, the same, telling the same story. One of them is that there's particular groups that are going to be punished first, and that would be, one of them is France. Another one is Italy, Rome, and particularly, the church. So the leadership, anyway. There seems to be a lot in the same things in the prophecies that talk about the failure of the priesthood. how many priests are going to fail. Anyway, this book goes on, and then it goes to the prophecies of the message and prophecies of Our Lady of Tilly. Those are very interesting. That's around, it's around the turn of the century, 1903 is this first one. I think it was, and maybe a little bit earlier too, 1901. Anyway, back to the contents of this book. And then it's going to get into, chapter 4 is The Secrets of Our Lady of Fatima. And this is a very nice rendition of all the details. And it's going to get into some very complicated things, which I think this author handled really well, which deal with the secrets of Fatima, particularly the third secret. So I recommend that. Let's see, and then where else is this going to go? Chapter 5 is Our Lady of Akita. That's another interesting one. Apparently, Pope Benedict had said that the message of Akita is basically the message of the third secret of Fatima. So that is covered here in this book. And then there's Apparitions of Our Lady of Good Success. That's actually going back in time. That's 1634. But anyway, those are fascinating, and they're all very similar, telling the same story. And then it moves into, Garabandal, Apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary in Garabandal. And I'm very familiar with that myself because I saw videos of that years ago, and I've been very convinced that even though they're not approved, they're not condemned, and they seem to be very worth listening to because they explain what's going on. They explain what's going on with the church, and with the failure in of the clergy and the bishops. So I recommend that you check that out. Let's see, I think that's about it for today. I'll try to cover some of these topics more in depth with little short videos. This one's already gone a little too long, so I'm going to let you go. Pray for Pope Benedict. We're doing the Liturgy of the Hours every day here together as an extra prayer. We're doing the morning prayer in order to to pray for Pope Benedict and the eternal repose of his soul. So please enjoy your Christmas season. I hope it's full of hope and that you get to, we should be appreciating in the time of Christmas. It's to appreciate what we have in this life with Jesus Christ being in our world. Do not doubt that he is with us. He told us that he says, I will be with you until the end of the age. So be hopeful, be full of trust. Remember what he said to St. Faustina, that he wanted her to put the message, Jesus, I trust in you. God bless you.